Now, ladies and gentlemen, Source 2. It's been a very touchy subject with myself and many other content creators in the past that I actually have called out and made videos dedicated to them. But in the past 24 hours of making this video, there's been a lot of developments with this on Twitter, as well as Counter-Strike Global Offensive updates and Dota 2 updates revolving around the Source 2 engine inside of Counter-Strike Global Offensive, a rename to Counter-Strike, how you can play Counter-Strike Global Offensive content when Counter-Strike comes out, so the newer version, you can still play Source 1 when Source 2 comes out, and many more. That's what we'll be discussing in today's video. Now, before we hop into the commentary and look over an overview of Source 2, here's a quick word from our video sponsor, Skins Monkey.
Hi you, yes you. Would you like to get $5 for free for your first trade? Just use skinsmonkey.com and get your extra skins. See description below to enjoy the special promotion and receive 5% cashback for trading your CSGO skins.
So the other day, just browsing around on Twitter, I started seeing a lot of people like Gabe Follower, very well-known person. I highly suggest you follow him on Twitter if you want to know anything Source 2 related, probably before I will, and update you guys, of course. But he's liked and also gone after a lot of stuff revolving around Source 2 in recent updates with data mines. And essentially, what this tweet says is they'll be splitting the CSGO into two separate clients. When Source 2 comes out, you can play Source 1 content, and you can also keep the game's integrity and your sanity, with what this guy says. So let's just say maybe you want to play Source 1 when Source 2 comes out. That's going to be pretty interesting to see. So if you want to play the older maps with how it looks, or maybe performance, that's going to be a very big person. I still think the pros are going to play on Source 1, and someone like myself as a content creator is going to play Source 2 because it's going to look better. You can have ray tracing and all that good stuff. And what also this guy said as a follow-up tweet, ever since I started using the Source 2 tools and importing stuff to it, I realized how difficult or impossible it would be to bring some of the workshop maps over. So what he's saying is bringing the workshop maps over that we currently have in CSGO, maybe it's your crosshair creator or something like an aim training map where you can quickly, hit a whole bunch of targets to practice and warm up your aim before a game possibly, or a tournament. It's going to be really hard for Valve and just anyone to import those over to Source 2. It would take decades of time. So what I think they're doing is they're going to make it run on the Source 1 engine or Source 1 map. So they're going to combine Source 1 and Source 2 into one game with a rebrand named Counter-Strike. That's what Valve has been kind of going after this past year or two. Plus, not to mention, the community servers would not work because of the Source 2's lack of source mode or source mod. I don't even know what this guy's talking about, but this is what I'm bringing you for content. And I thought it was really interesting. And some actual evidence to back what I just said and what they said as evidence, back in 2015 for Dota 2, for an example, in the Reborn update, CSGO players will be able to play on both versions for a while, and that's apparently what happened with Dota 2. And with Gabe Follower had, when this guy quote tweeted this, he said new strings related to Source 2 appeared in the last Dota 2 update, and it's been like this the past few months. Every Dota 2 update and every Counter-Strike Global Offensive update, especially CSGO the past 5 years, even since 2017, there has been little things here and there having Source 2 in it. If it's a little beach ball or the little ball and T-spawn, for example, on Dust 2, the little soccer ball or football for you Europeans, they have updated something as small as that to be a Source 2 file. And they've slowly just kind of added things over. And with Counter-Strike changing their thing on Twitter to just Counter-Strike instead of CSGO, it seems to me that they want to rebrand the game. And it seems to be a lot of people are also talking about this as well, just quote tweeting it themselves, some wild CSGO on Source 2. Maybe references can be found in the latest Dota 2 update, which they can. There's a lot of screenshots. I don't know what I'm looking at, but here's a quick screenshot for you guys. And apparently Gabe Follower also found Valve just added cum in Source 2, and then Arrow CSGO, fellow CSGO YouTuber, replied to that. Some also interesting tweets rolling around Source 2 is people were asked, what do you think Source 2 would bring? Like, what actual good things would come from Source 2, if that makes any sense? The whole game is not going to change that much, which I have talked about in the past. This game is not going to change a whole lot with Source 2. As much as people like to think that this game is going to be completely rehauled, remastered, new guns are going to be added, it's not really going to be like that. It's going to be pretty much the same game with ray tracing, a new lobby screen, which will be pretty interesting to see. It's going to be really cool to see how these workshop maps will be also structured into Source 2 with the new game called Counter-Strike. And that's another thing. Counter-Strike Global Offensive will be rebranded to just Counter-Strike. And I think Valve also removing the Ts and CTs and just adding defenders and attackers will be a lot better, of course, for sponsors, and Valve pushing CSGO out more to the public. Of course, some of the downsides to this and where people see Source 2 not really ever happening is you take the pandemic year, where the COVID happened, ladies and gentlemen. People were locked up inside, and when Valorant was starting to pop off slowly but surely, there was over 1.2 to 1.3 million players coming to CSGO, new players as well, just playing the game randomly. People liked this game even with the minimal graphics. People like Counter-Strike for how basic it is. It looks like trash, it looks like garbage, but it plays amazing. It's one of the best games ever built. That's why we as fans love it so much. And if you want to play it with all the ray tracing stuff, you go play something like Call of Duty or something like Cyberpunk for an example. But of course, we have to update with technology and the times, and I think that would be really, really good for it. And me, myself, what do I think of this? When do I think it's going to come out, and what do I think of this current situation? So I think Source 2 is most likely going to come out in the next year or two. I have no evidence to back that. There's been many people in the past that have talked about it. That's just what I think. I think it's most likely going to come in the next year or two for Valve's big CSGO update. I could be with the next operation, for example, who knows? And what we do know, of course, is every time there's a new update in some sort of game revolving around Valve, if it's Dota 2 or CSGO, there's more and more stuff getting added to Source 2. And I think one point or another, they're going to start testing this stuff. They're going to put out a beta, and they're going to start talking about it more publicly when they feel more comfortable enough about their product. And I actually think Source 2 is going to benefit the community quite a bit. I think it's going to bring in more players as well. Going to bring a lot of old players back to see what they did and see what they've changed. And the fact that you're going to be able to play Source 1 content in Source 2 is going to be really, really cool and interesting. Let me know what you guys think down below. Are you excited for this change that's going to happen inevitably at this point in time? Or you just don't really care, like myself and some other people? I think it's good for that we'll get new players, but I also think it's going to bring a lot more problems, like more bugs, more glitches, crashes, for an example. When you load into a Source 1 map, could it crash the game? That's what beta is going to be for, beta alpha testing. Let me know what you guys think. Stay positive, stay sexy. I'm out, guys. Peace.